Oh, no cap.
Nigga, I was at the Lincoln dealership.
Yeah, that's that. That
I
shit
used to
is
work
fly.
for them boys.
Yeah, man. It's a fly. All right, yo, we live. Good job, Speak Up Podcast. We haven't been here for a couple of weeks, over
Months, nigga.
so, yeah, months or so. I'd like to introduce y'all to my esteemed panel. We have next to me, we have the Mafia. Say what's up to the people, Moth.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Dark Skin Mop. Got my own plumbing business in Houston, Texas now, so y'all definitely go follow me, man. Dark Skin Mop. I own Northside Plumbing in Houston, Texas. Um, next.
All right, next we got the Noir Intellect.
Our intellect, I spit facts. Y'all know how I do. It's been a while, so let's get to it.
Let's do it. And over here, but on the bottom of me, we have the smallest of homies, Federal Ringer. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Fed.
I slap niggas and your mom won't do shit because I'm fucking her. Let's go.
Oh, he always gotta talk shit. Anyway, y'all see the title of the room. It says, kicking your child out the house, abusive or necessary. Now, this subject came up on War on Clubhouse. Myself, Noir, Moth, and Fed, we were on Clubhouse. We were talking to someone, and she was like, her mom kicked her out. I mean, not her mom kicked her out, but her grandma kicked her auntie out when they were a certain age because they was messing around and getting pregnant. Basically, the subject of that room was holding a standard for our community. And when our children are out here fucking up, doing whatever they want to do, put their ass out the house. You know what I mean? And let them figure out to be grown out there. Now, I took a different approach to that. I don't feel that putting your child out is constructive to helping them grow up. You know what I mean? Because kids are gonna be kids at the end of the day. You know what I mean? They don't understand shit. You can't let them you can't put them out to figure shit out because at that age they don't know what figuring out even means. They don't know where to start at. You know what I mean? So we'll go ahead and go around the room and see what y'all think. Put your child out as a form of discipline, or if let's say Moth or Noir or Fed, let's give a scenario right now. Your 14-year-old daughter get pregnant. You
Hmm.
putting her out the house?
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna put out the house. I'm gonna keep a close eye on her because the thing is, I've made a mistake by not. I feel like I've made a huge mistake if I didn't educate her by giving her, the conversation about sex and having safe sex, and also making sure that she knows that there are options out there for contraception, and also on top of that, you know, I feel like I may have failed her in the basically I failed her in that, you know, she's having sex with a guy that she may not even want to may not even want to see like a long-term partnership with or something like that. And then you're having a child with this person as well. So I just think that no, I wouldn't put my child up because like they're probably maybe an eighth grader or ninth grader. They're just getting into high school or whatnot, and that's not really old enough to completely figure out everything. Like they can figure it out, but it's just the likelihood of negative things happening to them are really high. I'd rather them just stay at home, watch them closely, and make sure that they don't do it again, and just ensure they have a really successful life. I think that's better than just kicking them out at that point.
All right, good point. How about you, Fed? Let's go over to you.
My child, you are a fuck up until you are no longer a fuck up. And in my eyes, that could last up until the time you're 35. So, your fuck up should not result in what could potentially lead to your death via hungriness, homelessness, potential abuse from other people out in the streets and the cold world that doesn't have the time, the patience, or the fucking need to groom you to do right after you've made your mistakes. Your best place of safety for correction is in my house.
All right, cool. I mean, I'm pretty much in agreement with y'all too, man. Because like, I give it from my perspective. Like, y'all know that I used to work for social services. What I've seen a lot is people getting like kids getting put out their house like they 16, 17, I mean, sometimes 15, being put out the house for being pregnant or anything like that, and they don't know what the hell to do. These kids can hardly read, man. And that's another thing. Like a lot of these people who are getting, a lot of these teenagers who are getting pregnant young. If you look at their education level, a lot of them could hardly read. I mean, they got like a third or fourth grade reading level. They were just getting passed over in school. You feel me? So of course, when they get older and they get into puberty, like sexual desire is normal. You know what I mean? That's gonna happen. But they're not gonna be, up there like that. They're not gonna be very educated into what to do with that. You know what I mean? They're just gonna be having sex, and not really know what to do with that. Trust me, because I've met 15-year-old boys with like two kids on the way. And when I asked them, how come you didn't wrap it up? They would just said, "Oh, I just heard condoms were bad for you." When I asked them, well, "Yo, what the hell does that mean?" They're like, "Oh, I don't know. I just heard it was bad." You know what I'm saying? They don't know even know what it means. You feel me? So putting them out the house doesn't help those people. You feel me? It usually just makes the situation worse. On the contrary, when I've seen people in the house when they say, "Okay, you pregnant, but now you're gonna do what the fuck I tell you to do." You know what I mean? You're gonna do everything I tell you to do. Those people end up in a much better position, even though they were pregnant and they had kids young. They end up in a much better position later on in life because the parents are able to keep an eye on them and guide them much more better. You know what I mean? So I'm with, if my child gets pregnant, I agree with you, Noir, where I feel that I failed somewhere as a father, and I would also want to protect them. But let's go ahead and move on. What about you, Marv? What you say?
Yeah, if my daughter got pregnant, you said what the age was 14 or 16? Think of
By 14, she pregnant.
14. So yeah, well, first I should say I would hope that wouldn't happen with my daughter, but things happen. So if she did get pregnant, um, man, I won't kick her out. I mean, I wouldn't even kick out my son if he got a girl. I wouldn't do that. I would try to help her. If she made a mistake, like you said, if she, she's 14, so I know she's having hormones and all that stuff. She met a guy she like, he probably a senior or something. He talked her into it, whatever. It happens. If she ends up pregnant, I won't kick her out. I will help her. I will try to be that figure. I'll try to be that father figure for her, so she can just. I mean, she'll know I'm a good dad already because I'll raise her, But I would just try to just be a better father, like almost try to be not her baby daddy, but just be that figure, like just do more for her, provide for her, make a savings just for her baby, just so she can kind of see how a man should be, for her when she's pregnant and stuff like that. Just I'll kind of teach her a lesson that way, like a proper lesson, like this is what he should be doing right now. And if it's not what he's doing right now, then obviously he ain't the one, but that's okay because you're gonna have me, throughout the whole. At the end of the day, that's my grandbaby, right? So let's not forget. If she gets pregnant, I can't kick her out because I'm kicking my grandbaby out too, and I would never do that. So I gotta just look at it that way too. That is my grandchild. That grandchild would need somewhere to stay at least, for the next 6 years because it's gonna be hard for her, at 18, trying to wherever she's gonna do. If she's gonna go to college, she's gonna get a job. Like it's gonna be extremely hard for her, and I know that because I'm a single parent. So I just have to, I would have to just do everything I can in my power just to make sure, she have the help that she need. Because if she don't, she'll end up getting pregnant, having another baby, and not really understanding the lessons she made from the first one because she kind of just had to do what she had to do to get by, and as most likely they'll be going to another man.
Yeah, the way I see it, the whole situation, I think kicking them out is more of like a really toxic or like aggressive reaction to an already bad situation, already unfavorable situation. Like there's already something negative going on, like an adverse uh kind of like situation going on. Why add fuel to the fire and kick the child out? Like they're not prepared to begin with. Like so, why would you kick them out? It's like to me that's like canceling the child. You just like your child did made a it's a mistake. We have to admit it. It's a mistake. People are human. Mistakes happen. You know, and I think their mistake of having a child too young is not nearly as big as your mistake of kicking your child out too young. Because you're kicking out two generations of people out. Like, and then you don't know what's going to happen to them. They could have died, and then you'll just, I don't know, like whoever kicks them out, they're just going to say, yeah, well, my child should have followed the rules. But the thing is, when rules are broken, Like this is not, it's not a crime, you know. It's just a mistake that was made, and you know, then you need to figure out the situation and ensure your child figures out, like learns to become independent on their own, you know. So yeah, I just don't really understand what that woman was doing, or what, you know, what they were talking about in the conversation that we were listening in on. I think it's just an overreaction to trying to instill some sort of responsibility and, you know, integrity into people. And I understand where they're coming from, but I don't like the reality. You know, I don't like the reality of what's going to happen if you just kick your child. They could be killed. They could be, you know, they could be snatched up and kidnapped. Anything can happen. So
Yeah, man. And
Uh,
my bad. Go ahead, Moff.
oh yeah, yeah. So well, I know what she was gonna say, Bossy, but you might want to get it out because I'm kind of gonna change it up a little bit. So get out what you was gonna say.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Because the conversation we was having in that clubhouse room, the overall conversation was, between white supremacy and personal accountability, and she was more on, our community and ourselves need to have certain standards that we need to uphold. You know what I mean? And there needs to be follow through and consequences to what we say. You know what I mean? So I understand where she was coming from, but I feel like measures like that, you're just gonna make things worse. You know what I mean? And I was gonna ask, like, do y'all think I was gonna ask actually two questions. Like, what's the delineating factor between helping someone out and enabling someone? And do y'all think this is a cultural thing? You know what I mean? Or cross cultural thing? Because I'm not gonna lie to you. Most of the majority of the people, when I was in social services, the majority of the people, the majority of the teens who said they were kicked out, because they got someone pregnant or they are pregnant, they tended to be from African American households, while those I saw that were kept in the house tend to be from West Indian households. Do y'all think there's a cultural difference there, or it was just people
yeah,
out?
Hold,
it's
hold on,
definitely a
hold on.
cultural difference.
Hold on, Bossy. Put a pin in it real quick, because mine's still kind of more on topic with the last one. So what I was gonna say was the scenario you brought up was like my daughter getting pregnant, because I want to say I'm actually pro kicking out. I never did say that, but I do want to say I'm pro kicking out. In that scenario, I won't do it. Now I wanted to bring up another one. Like I actually have a son. Now I know what I'm doing right now to bust my ass for this little man, and I know what it means to be a little man in the wrong environment too. I was once one, so I feel like if I'm busting my ass for this little man, and then he decided to go out and sell drugs, and I'm like, hey, look, Brandon, you ain't supposed to be doing that, man. Like straight up, stop doing that. But that's what he want to do. Like, he's 14, 15. He kind of know, because I remember me being that age, I kind of knew, and I would hear people tell me, hey, don't do this, don't do that. But hey, man, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I want to do. So if that's his mentality, and he want to be grown, and he hit about 16, and he already going to jail and shit like that, like I was when I was young. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be like, man, you got to get kicked out. You got to go be grown on your own, because you can't be grown in this house. You know what I'm saying? Like you a 16 years old child. I'm working my ass off to make sure you get through school, trying to get you in college, trying to get you down with this plumbing shit. So if he decide he want to move on and do something totally different than what I'm doing or what I'm trying to do for him, like the vision that I have, like, and he just do the complete opposite of what I'm teaching him, like I don't feel like you need to be in my house. Like you made your decision already, and like you had 14, 15, 16 years of me teaching you the right thing. So if you was to go out and do the wrong thing, I feel like, yeah, I just I just can't let you stay with me no more. Now, what y'all think about that scenario?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
mind
a,
that scenario, 'cause that's legit committing crimes, man. Like, you're trying to set him up with a good life so that he has the resource, like, you know, a son. Your son has like the resources. You know, they have the structure, the resources, structure, and foundation to where there's no like good reason to turn to something like that. So in that case, you know, something like that definitely needs to be done. Like, I wouldn't blame you for kicking out in that situation.
Truth be told, subconsciously, what's really going on, why little man got to get the fuck out, is because the activities that you are doing are putting the household that is trying to keep you out of that at stake. The last thing I need is the ATF kicking in my motherfucking door because your little dumbass decided you want to go sell some weight Because you heard Future pushing drugs on the last album he put out. Like, I don't need that. Like, the well being of this home that you were raised in is not worth the bullshit you honestly believe is worth doing. You damn right you gotta go. I don't want to put you the fuck out, but it's for the greater good at that point. Let's say you're not my only child. Even if you are my only child, me, your mom, or my wife, whatever, this household that we've worked hard to get to, or whether it's hard, what we've done our fair share to get rewarded for, our efforts will not be put in jeopardy of any kind for you and the mistakes you are choosing to repeatedly make. I'm not going to do that. So at that point, you're damn right. I don't want you to go. I hope you get help, and I might keep a watchful eye. But in this house, this household, like my only caveat to what my percent is that I would find a way that yeah, my nigga, you gotta leave just so the house that you could potentially come back to is not at stake. Because what if you doing this shit and I rent this home and we get the door kicked in? Now we all get the fuck out. Now we all homeless. You're
Or
you're 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 putting more shit at risk than just yourself. You're putting us all
right,
at risk.
right. It's dangerous. I mean, they might not know what they're doing. They might be selling drugs and they piss somebody off somehow and they end up they trying to find your house and end up attacking people at the house, or rob people. Yeah, it's
You're
just
like
a lot
once they
to
ride
think
by,
about.
ain't no coming back from that.
Exactly. So
Now, as for the daughter that got pregnant and they put that person out, here's the thing. That's not a scenario where who the fuck is calling me? Fuck the shit. That is not a scenario where what the daughter did puts the household at stake. But for those that do kick the child out, what I think just my theory might be happening is that there's a selfishness involved. That okay, now I gotta do this because of you. I'm not having that. Get out. And it's like I feel it to an extent, but that's fucked up.
one thing the lady did say is that I already have 7 kids. I ain't trying to take care of none of your kids.
Okay, so this is mainly directed towards kicking kids out for the wrong reasons. Not for anything that they're doing wrong. I guess argument. I like you can argue and say like they shouldn't be having sex. I guess or something like that. To play devil's advocate, but ultimately this is about the kids, like kids that got kicked out for the wrong reasons, controversial reasons, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's kids get like petty reasons. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I've seen very petty reasons for kids to get kicked out. Like I've seen kids get kicked out because they got caught having sex in the house. You know what I'm saying? And like I understand, you don't want your son or your daughter to be having sex at 15, 16 years old. But at the end of the day, like if this shit happened, like it's better for it to be in house and for you to teach them about contraceptives and shit like that than putting them out there and them not knowing shit. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
But
it's
I agree with you on that. Like, I'm sorry, Fed. If my
but
son had, if my son and my daughter had a boy, if my son had a girlfriend and my daughter had a boyfriend, I wouldn't mind, her boyfriend coming over and they getting it in the room. Like, that's cool. I mean, y'all go do it anyway in the park. I know because I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all go find somewhere to do it at. Like, and y'all go do it. So why not somewhere where I know it's safe? He around, he probably go fuck with me. I'm gonna be a cool dad. Or the girl might be like, oh, your pop's cool. Him and his girl be chilling. Like whatever. So yeah, I kind of feel you on that, bossy. Like that's proper. You know what I'm saying? That's how it should be.
yeah, exactly. I see that a lot with girls too. You know what I mean? Where they're like these a lot of these girls just cannot talk to their dads or their moms because like that's how it is in a lot in West Indian culture, man. They just cannot talk to them. You feel me? If they have a sex or anything like that, they peep their parents. They're afraid their parents will literally kill them, like put their hands around their neck and choke the life out of them. You feel me? And that's scary to know that from your own parent. The person who gave you life is going to kill me because I'm doing a normal human behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like
You have
it's
to do an impression on that man. That would be funny as shit. How your parents really react. You have to do an impression on that man. That would be funny as shit, man. Cause you know how like they say Nigerian parents be mad, but man, I don't know how you're gonna do it. Like that dude, you gotta man.
Hey, but look, is there a certain age where somebody just has to get kicked out? Like
Um,
you
ah,
say,
30. 30.
damn, that's
30,
old.
30.
man.
That's
Like
that's
yeah.
old.
I
Yeah,
say, oh
I
man,
know that's old, but like here's why I say 30. Because teenage years, I don't think this should be kicked out unless it's a situation like how Marv said. You putting lives in danger. Yeah, not gotta get you out. But like when you're 21, I always tell people this: the age of 2021 is a very weird stage because around 2021 you're expected to be an adult, but you're really not an adult yet. You just got out of being a teenager. You know what I'm saying? 18, 19, you're still a teenager. 2021, you're expected to be an adult, but you didn't learn shit yet. At 25, that's when people really get their head together. That's when they really know what they want out of life and where they want to go in life at 25. But even at 25, you know what I'm saying? At 26, 27, 28, a lot of people still getting shit together. You know what I'm saying? So I would say like usually at around the ages of 28, 29, I'm gonna start talking to them about like you're gonna have to, try to get your ass out of here. You know what I mean? But like if you're a fuck up through all your 20s and at 29 you're gonna try to get your shit together, I'm gonna still kick you out. I'll be like, oh yeah, you know you're gonna have to leave. You have a year to figure shit out because you're gonna have to get put out. You have to leave. You fucked up through all your 20s. You're 29 now. You know you're gonna have to get your shit together. But yeah, get out. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
yeah,
for me,
I'm around that age. You know what I'm saying? Around that age, around 30, yeah, you gotta get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
for
that's
me, I would only agree with 30, just in the sense that like, if you're attending school for higher level education, you get a PhD, and you're going to be in school until you're about 20, unless you're some kind of prodigy. You're going to be in school until your mid 20s, like 26, 27 or older, to get your PhD, and it may take a little while for you to get a full time job, and then on top of that, save up enough money to where you can then move out. So that's for that. I can definitely see late 20s, but for someone like me, or someone who just graduated from high school, or someone like me, out of school in the early 20s, man, like I mean, it's really up to the parent, honestly. I know a lot of parents, they let the kids stay home so they can save up money and stuff like that for over years and then pay off the college tuition and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like the talk might need to start happening around 25, unless you got a PhD. Like it's like, all right, man. You know what like are you doing to make sure that you have your career set, and then you can become independent. So yeah.
They'll definitely be my rule too. I would straight up just tell like, well, I got a son, so I'm always say my son because that's what I got right now. So I'm gonna just tell my son straight up like, hey, look, bro, you finna when he turned 18, that's the age for me. After he finished high school, ideally when he turned 18, 19, maybe if he late, that's the age where I'm gonna be like, hey, what you gonna do? And I'm gonna tell him, go get a trade or take your ass to school. I'll pay for school. You know what I'm saying? Finish though. If you want to go to school, just finish. I don't give a fuck. Just finish. If you get those 4 years, like Nep said, in school, I don't know how school work, all that. I know you get 4 years, get your little what is it, bachelor's degree or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I ain't go to school, but I'm saying I know he can work 4 years in a trade and he can make, like 70 grand somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I know that's decent money in the future. That might be like 90 grand, because, we're gonna make
Hmm.
more money in the future. So, when minimum wage go up and shit. So he gonna be making some money, you know what I'm saying? And it gonna be like, all right, man, so you you making 90, you've been staying with me for 4 years, it's time for you to go. Or if you was in school, all right, now you got 4 more years. If you get out of school in 4 years, now you got 4 more years. So, like you said, it's either gonna be in that kind of that late 20s or that mid 20s. But either way, in your 20s, you gotta go. It ain't gonna be no goddamn 30. You know what I'm saying, Posey?
Yeah, 30 is a little old. I mean, yeah,
I hear y'all, but like this is what I'm saying. Like
exception.
one, not everybody's really the same. Like you'll be surprised how many people like 18, 19, 20 literally do not know what they want to do. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. And I feel like the parents really fail with them.
Right.
I feel like they fail with them because even at 18, 19, you may not know exactly what you want to do, but you should have at least some semblance of a direction or some kind of system like set up to know what you want to do. Like the parents should be telling, hey, like my mom said, go to school, go get a trade. Like they can't just be sitting around not knowing what to do. They gotta be working or figuring something out, so
Yeah,
that over the next
definitely.
few years they're gonna have some major join the military. They pay for schooling. Get that which
I
that
bill.
GI bill. Get that, take
Yeah,
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 they need
advantage
to
of it.
mention the military.
yeah. I definitely
Exactly.
agree with that. So I will talk to them around their mid 20s if I see they really didn't have any direction yet about what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? But like, there are people in that range where they're either just going to school getting BS degrees because they really don't know what the fuck they want to do, or they. I'm just saying, like, that's why I've always said 20 is a very very weird age. They like you guys expect them to be adults, but they're kids, man. Like if you I know you Noir, you're a lot more ahead of the younger 20s people that you know, but most of your generation in their early 20s, man, a lot of them is still kids, bro. They really
Well,
don't know what they're doing out here. You feel what I'm
I
saying?
mean, I was about the same level. Um, but yeah, I mean, I feel like again, it's like the direction, man. Like the parents didn't for a lot of like a lot of kids who weren't around, or I won't even say doing without as much as I was doing. I don't even, you ain't got to be doing as much as I was doing, but at least have some kind of direction. If they didn't have that, it's usually because they didn't have direction leading up to when they were graduating high school. Like if you have things set up leading up to when you graduate, they ain't nothing. Cause like I just seen people they didn't go to college, or if they went to school, they really didn't even use their degree. A lot of those people are more successful than I am, and that's because they had direction starting back to freaking middle school, man, especially in high school.
So
So
I want to say this. I'll keep it brief. Uh, I know that me and Vosi are some of the older cats on the panel. If I may ask, and you don't mind answering, Noir, how old are your parents?
like mid 40s, like 45, 47.
45, 47.
They had me
Moff,
in early 20s.
Moff.
Yo. Yeah. My bad, bro. Yeah, my mom's late 40s. My dad's early 50s.
Okay. So, so at least our parents aren't too far off in ages per se.
Nigga, we ain't
Um,
too far off in ages.
well, no. No. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Now,
Mom,
the
mom.
thing that the reason why I say this because um, one of the things that plays a major role that Noir pointed out, and I wanted to expand upon, was the whole sense of direction. Now, I would like to say that for a lot of people who are lucky, like myself, to have parents who are well established, and it's a lot easier for them to try to instill that sense of direction, to mention a game plan as you get older, to like also like kind of like ingrain that into you as you grow up. But for like parents who are younger or poor, who don't have time to try to get you together when they're trying to work a couple of jobs and this, that, and the third, and be lucky if their child ends up being a Noir or a Volsi or a myself or a Moth. Like, it's difficult because it's a combination of shit that the parents have no control over, especially when they're not in the best position as is to even try to think to put their kids on a fast track to anything, let alone even a slow track to shit. So like my mom never recommended any one of us go to the military. I mean, she was a college baby herself when she had me. Um, but for my older brother, that conversation never materialized because she thought he would play sports. For me, it was going to college because she knew I was into the books. For my little brother and sister, it was neither one of those things because by that time it was like we were so straight by the 90s when we were all teenagers that it wasn't really a thing of okay, we're pressed to make sure you do this. I feel like what the parents push the children to do, or the timeline for when that child has to leave, or the age range that seems appropriate, is dependent upon the parent situation and even what they notice the kids like taking a shine to and whatever in the beginning. That plays a huge role that a lot of people don't talk about.
Mhm. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like if your parents got bread and you can go to whatever school you want and they can afford for you to like have your fuck up stumbles, or even if you decide to venture out on your own when you're not ready, then it's easier to be like, okay, we'll set this aside for you. Figure out what you want to do, and if it don't work, come back. Let's go back to the drawing board. A majority of parents in the black community don't have that fucking luxury. They don't
Yeah.
have the time to, you know, even set up a fucking Google Calendar to make sure you go apply for a job, check out certain books, hit the library every once in a while, take your driver's assist. Like they don't have the time when like they get off work and time to get you ready for school, and then they're sleeping. And by the time you get home from school, they're off to work. Like there's no that shit takes away the time to even establish that type of bond to put that kind of plan in place. A lot of kids just aren't lucky. So depending on what your situation is with your parents, their situation is will determine the timeline for you. And in both good and bad ways. Sometimes you're stuck in the house because they need you there. Like if you leave, they're fucked up. And they need you not to leave. I've seen that shit. But you got other parents that because they're so straight or they might be overprotective of you that they don't want you to damn go. So it could be two of the same outcomes for two totally different reasons. It really depends on the why. So that age could differ like a motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, like yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point, man. Cause like all my me and my sisters, like we were all that entire age of when each of us get what will get kicked out. That was never really a conversation in our household. Our parents once just told us just stay and save up your money. You feel what I'm saying? Like even when I moved out, those like you ain't got to move. Just stay here and save your money for when you get married. Now I mean, just put this money on the side and save it up for when you get married. You feel what I'm saying? So it really does change for every single person. It really does it varies. You feel what I'm saying? Which is why I put it in the late 20s to 30s range because that's when the conversation came up with us. You know what I mean? When I became like 27, 28 years old, and I graduated when I was 25 on my bachelor's, and that's when my people were starting to ask me, are you gonna get this job here and move out, or what's gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? That's when that conversation really happened around 25. So that's why I put it around that age range. I guess was just what I'm used to.
And for some folks, that conversation may never fucking happen because the appropriate time will never present itself for it to be a thing of like, what do you want to do?
Hey, that's
Because
how it was
there's
for
a
me. My mom just got like she just got me an apartment, and that was like pretty much it. like like hey, you out. So shit, it was
Yeah,
tough, but hey.
and I've seen some families where the parents were divorced. They were living with the mom. The mom got remarried, and they were like 23, 24 years old, and the mom just leaves, goes to like fucking Tampa or Tallahassee or some shit, and the kids are just kind of like there. You know what I mean? They're like, oh shit, we ain't got no place to live next week. You feel me? They just got to figure it all out right then and there. Like I've seen that shit too. You know what I mean? So it's like it's that type of like at what age it kind of just like Fed said, it varies a lot. You know what I mean? It depends on your situation, really.
Yeah, it definitely depends. I did notice that a lot of people who are raised with older parents, they definitely have they have a good track or good pathway for setting up their kid for success, especially if they're older and they actually use that time that they use the time that to prepare themselves to have themselves ready to have children, whether they started a business or they went to school and have professional jobs and they didn't have children until they're around 30 or whatever. Those tend to have like really successful kids. Um and there a lot of them aren't pro, kicking out early. They might be pro, allowing the child to develop, and then if they want to leave, they can move out a little bit later on. I know with my parents, it was kind of a weird thing because for me, my parents, they were very young and they were basically still figuring themselves out when they were having me. They didn't, start off with a lot. They start off pretty, kind of poor or working class and whatnot. And they developed themselves over time. And then when it came time for me, when once I graduated and I had my professional job, it's really me that was pushing towards moving out on my own. It really wasn't them. I think I had pretty much, as much freedom as I wanted in terms of whether I wanted to move out or just stay at home for a little bit and save. So
That's real.
That's what's
And
up.
again, because when I think back to my parents, my mother's 54, my father's 60. Well, my dad's 60. My father's like 2 years younger than her. Um, I think about, the circumstances, and I would say that my mother is literally the quintessential definition of someone that literally grew up with the times. So, like, when she had my older brother, she was graduating high school. When she had me, she started college. When she had my little brother and sister, she had, finished with her bachelor's in nursing. So, or whatever the fuck, where she could go into nursing. And so that means like before any of us were even fucking 5 years old, you know, she's already in her career field and she's got a good guy in her life, that being my dad. You know what I'm saying? So like it's so different, when there's literally no situation that arises that would even make you foresee a future where this has to be a conversation about what do you want to do. It was only when my sister was the first of us to have children that all that shit came like to a level like, oh shit. But by the damn, like my mom was already like close to like 45 and shit. So it's like it's much different at that point. For each scenario. And I just feel like if your situation is great, then no one really cares. And if it's not, then it's 50-50. Like, because now it's are you here because we need you, or are you here because no one here's got a plan and we're better off together being stuck in this shithole? At least like if it don't get better for nobody, we can at least manage this shit together. And this is the best we could damn do. And we can't afford to lose one piece of the puzzle because all of us fucked up. So, and the sad truth is, for a majority of folks, everyone is fucked up. It's not, I'm not gonna say it's uncommon, but it is more of a rarity where you have a household where the children and the parents were straight from the get-go, where the generations of stability was passed down, and now the conversation doesn't have to be had.
That's facts. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good segue into the question I asked earlier. What I think is the delineating factor between helping someone out while they're figuring shit out and enabling them while they're fucking up.
man, s- seeing it in my family, man. I think the uh the fine line between that is when you're not having the conversation about independence and about their goals in life. When you're just allowing them to just stay and just not really figure things out. They're just staying there just to staying at home with no real direction. Like I know y'all seen the example. Y'all seen the case where it was like the white guy with his parents. He's like 30 years old and his parents had to sue. They had to literally take him to court to sue to get him evicted from their house, which is crazy because I think he was an engineer who couldn't find a job for some reason, which is mostly self-imposed. If you're an engineer, there's so many different job opportunities out there. He just wanted to sit at home, play video games. I think that the reason that it took them so long to leave is because they were probably enabling him. They probably didn't, some mistake that they made where they weren't like really pressuring him to get a job, stop playing video games, maybe get rid of the video game, throw that shit away. Like I don't know. At some point, you have to really put the pressure on him, and that's gonna get him to realize that your parents they want you out. They want you to become independent, work your job from your bachelor's degree, and like in your field, and get out.
I mean, if that's the case, then it would really point more so to the parents about, okay, why do they want you out? Like, if they say you got a bachelor's degree, did they help you pay for the shit, or were they housing you so you could get the bachelor's degree? Like, how much of whatever resources, whether it be time, money, whatever, was invested into you having this, that now you sitting in this household that you've been here for all this time is now a problem. That's the determining factor, and that's the fine line. What the fine line is, what the parents' contribution is to the scenario that they are no longer comfortable with.
Well,
Because
they're uncomfortable because he's just sitting around playing video games and
Hey,
not
they
not
got,
trying to find a job.
like,
hey,
is it costing them? Like, what's going on?
No, was he
I don't
doing
really
nothing
get the
with the,
question.
no, what
Um,
was he doing
Because he's unemployed
nothing with,
playing video games with a degree.
okay, like
so
was
wait,
he doing absolutely yo.
what's the question again?
No, my question was what's the delineating factor between helping someone out while they're figuring things out and enabling them while they're just around here fucking up. And Noor brought up the example of the parents who had to go to court to evict their 30-year-old son because he was just sitting around playing video games all day and not. He had an engineering degree, you know, what I mean, he just wasn't doing shit with it. My question
Exactly.
was like, was he doing absolutely nothing with the video games? Like, was he close to starting an esports team? Was he streaming
Nah.
views? Any of that?
I didn't see it from the what I've seen. It just seemed like he was just playing games. I didn't hear anything about esports or anything. Apparently, I guess he couldn't find a job when he initially graduated, but it had been years and years, probably at least 5 years or more, and he just sat around playing video games. He wasn't working towards being an esport e gamer or nothing. No Twitch streaming, none of that stuff. Like just playing video games and
Just wasting talent.
complaining about the fact that he couldn't find a job that first probably couple months after he graduated.
Yeah, you see that, and that's the thing. If I see someone, you know, like just playing video, if I see my son or my daughter just sitting there while they're 22, 23 years old, just playing video games all day, I'm gonna go to them and be like, listen, you better do something constructive with this. Like, what you playing? You playing Call of Duty? Better be ready to join an esports team, or like being on Twitter. I mean, on Twitch or
Twitch, yeah.
caffeine and streaming or doing or on Facebook gaming and trying to get your views up because
Right.
if you're gonna do something, you're gonna bring a check into this house. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, what a lot of people don't know is because we live in such a technological world, artistry can actually be very, very useful, just like what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? There are plenty of people who are getting paid from what we're doing right now. There are plenty of people who get, who draw pictures and get paid from that. Like we've all seen, stories of artists like Banksy and Goya and people like that selling their paintings for tens of millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? So artwork can get you some money, but you need to be out there hustling and getting your deals in with that artwork. You feel what I'm saying? And have something on the side for you, just in case something doesn't work out. You feel me? Like there's people who make plenty money just taking pictures. You know what I'm saying? But be productive. Like I don't want to. I think when we talk like this, people think that we want to crush creativity. I definitely don't want to crush creativity, but creativity also takes work. You know what I mean? You just can't be taking pictures on your phone and showing it to me on online and then you go into your room and watch Lifetime movies all day. Nah, bro, like go out there, you know what I'm saying? Get some actual software for your computer. You know what I'm saying? Go out to the city, go out to the country, wherever you gotta go, take all your pictures and start developing them shits. And start to sell them on eBay or something like that, or sell them on Amazon. Do something productive with your art. I think the leading factor between um helping somebody figure things out and enabling them is that right there. Production. Yeah, I mean, like
Yep.
if you're not having them see to like pushing them in a way, guiding them in a way to be productive, then you're just enabling them while they fuck up. Honestly.
Now, are
Yeah,
you asking them to
that
be
goes back.
productive?
Oh, well,
Go
yeah.
ahead. Oh, you go.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, look, that goes back to what I was saying. Like, you got to instill that in your kid when you raise them. You know what I'm saying? Like I always got to, I'll speak from experience. Y'all know who I am, but like my son, man, like I purposely show him plumbing. Even though he's 6 years old, it's like he understand. He know what I'm talking about. He helped me out. I tell him give me a hammer. He know what it is. I tell him give me some pliers. He know what it is. Like he do me on the job. Moving toilets, and he like it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he's gonna grow up and just be like, okay, this is how my daddy make his money. You know what I'm saying? And my daddy got money, so you know what I'm saying? It gotta be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like my daddy a plumber. How you get them shoes? My daddy a plumber. That was all he gonna say. You know what I'm saying? People could be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? They think I making money like that. Like it gonna be like he
You
go see money, you know, and believe that
see
gonna
the
motivate him. Go ahead, Fed.
see the thing is, you have the platform and the time to put that type of motivation around him on a day-to-day basis, you are in a very, very select few people that can do that type of shit that's not rich. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I'm not ready.
that's an no, no, I understand, but like nigga, that's an anomaly. And so that's amazing that you can do that. But again, it goes back to before we can even get to the part about where you draw the line between enabling and trying to help, we have to go back to the situation. If my son decides to grow up and like, man, my daddy make all the money, fuck all this shit, I'm gonna chill. And he's been exposed to the hard work and ways to make money and shown entrepreneurship, and he decided not to be shit, Mom got every reason to say, nigga, get the fuck out. Cause I done
Well,
groomed you around this shit too long for you to
well,
not be shit.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to because I'm teaching you that now. You know what I'm saying? During the summers, you go come work with me and shit. Like, yeah, like if you don't go to like, let's say you want to go to college. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's say you want to be a lawyer. All right, motherfucker, I'm gonna pay for this shit. I'm gonna pay for you to go to law school. Nigga, you better be the best lawyer in Houston, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. Like,
Now, would you feel that same way if your money was not invested into that degree?
fucking right. That's my son. What you talking about?
About saying like, okay, well, let me rephrase the question. Let me rephrase the question. I understand you would feel the same way about wanting him to be successful in that career field he chose if he chose to pursue a degree. But would you go as hard as pushing him if your money was not on the line?
Well, regardless, even if his mama pay the money, yeah, I'm gonna push him. And just like whatever my son do, no matter how he get it, I'm gonna push him. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my little man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Like no
Well,
matter how he get it, no matter how he win, this a blessing, Fed. It's a blessing that he in a position. If I'm able to pay for it, that's just a blessing. You know,
you're
my money
right.
has nothing to do. He might get a scholarship. I might not even got to pay for it. He might be, the best quarterback in school. You know what I'm saying? He might
Right.
be smart as motherfucker. He might, get an academic scholarship. I don't know, but if push gonna shove, I'll pay for it. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And
That's
the
my
thing
little
is, that's dope. That's dope. But what I'm saying is, and again, it goes back to you're in a position where like you can do that. For a lot of parents, my nigga, like that's just not the reality that they have. Especially when like you don't have much to start with and you decide to take the risk of trying to invest into your children because I was in a chat room earlier, I think mostly had a minute, where the lady was saying that her kids are fucking liabilities and like depreciating assets until they turn like a certain age. And I'm like, whoa, that's fucked up. But I understand why they would say that because if you're putting your money into the child, and again, this your unique situation, and I feel the same way you feel. Like whether I put money into my children or not, like I want them to be successful. For a lot of parents who don't have that to start with, taking a gamble, especially if they end up investing into their kids monetarily, like it's a gamble that if it don't pay off, like they're pissed with the child and themselves, and now it's personal that you failed and you're still in their house because like they could have put that money somewhere the fuck else in their eyes. Like a lot of parents feel this way. They don't want to say that shit, but they do, and it fucking sucks. But it goes back to the scenario. A scenario really dictates all those conversations. What you do with the child, what you expose them to, and where the line is blurred. Scenarios dictate that.
the money. The money don't really matter because the moment you have a kid, you sign up for that. Like you really should already have that shit put to the side. Like if you really doing it the right way, if you really have a kid, realize the situation, go to work every day. I did it the right way. If you really do it the right way, like everything will work out properly. Like I promise. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just that's it. You just gotta work, stay at a certain job, don't quit, keep going, keep pushing. Eventually you go make it. Eventually you go be on top. Like,
I agree with you. Now,
you will be a man.
here's my
So
question though. Your son is 6, correct?
correct.
Okay, so you're 28.
27.
Okay, so you had your child at a fairly decent. I'm not gonna say it's a decent age, as opposed to telling that to someone that's 14, 15, or 16. Like we can't have that same conversation with this child whose parents might like be in their fucking low 30s. This is a tough sell. Like, and again, I don't want to keep dragging it back there, but it really goes back to that situation because it's easier to do it the right way when you're older as opposed to tell someone at 16, 15, 16, 17, okay, you had this child, do this the right way.
Okay.
It,
Okay.
it, it, it's,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
it's
that makes
subjective.
sense.
My mom had her first kid at 15. You know, so she was pregnant at 14, and like then she had a kid at 16, then she had a kid at 17, then she had me at 19. So my mama had kids back to back to back, and then she had five more after that. So you're talking to somebody who's been through it, who have a parent that's like that, you know, who experienced this. So it's not like I'm talking out my ass here, fam.
No, no,
Like
I'm not saying that you are,
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
but
Like
what
I
I'm
came
saying
from
is that
like
the
I came from that family. Like I am that family. That family you speaking of, I'm the person you talking to. Like I experienced that, and I'm telling you, like niggas good. All you gotta do is just
no,
when
no,
you realize.
I feel you, but then again, mind you, it goes back to your mom. What was your mother's situation like back then?
Shit.
Who had shit set up for her when she was coming up as a teenager? Like I don't know these things, so you would have to tell me. Like my mom was lucky; she had my grandmother and my great aunt. Like the family was big, and they was on her motherfucking neck, and they had generational stability in place. So if she were to do the fuck up that she did, because she wasn't supposed to have no kids at that age. As a matter of fact, real personal story. Before my older brother was born, when my mother was 17, she had a miscarriage of twins when she was 15. So I could have been like the third oldest of like four, technically, if she would have had those twins. But my mom's family at the time had stability in place to where that mistake, no matter how the fuck she want to call it, was able to be, coached into letting her go to college, finish high school, and like now we're straight. And maybe your mom had it the same way. So I was going to ask you, did her parents or grandparents have that stability in place to where even though she had those kids young, that it wasn't as it didn't hurt as much or throw things off as someone who didn't?
Nope. My mama had three jobs and her oldest son. Straight up. Like my brother raised us. Like he was a kid raising kids, and he was like our daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like he dead now, but you know he straight up was like our father figure. You know we ain't have a dad around, but he was like he had to do it. My mama had to get it. You know what I'm saying? So all my life, my mama worked. That's what I'm saying. Like she kept a job. She stayed working hard. She worked at a barbecue place down the street. We used to go there get free barbecue. Like that's how we ate. You know, like I remember that shit growing up. You know, New Orleans was tough, bro. Like that shit really was crazy. Like growing up in that city, like it ain't nothing like it. Like I've been to many cities. I visit many hoods. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't one like New Orleans. Even when I go visit back, I be scared as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like because I know how niggas is out there. You know what I'm saying? It's like I know how I am. You know, I flex in Houston, I'm good, but out there it's like, man, shit, ain't no flexing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really spooked. I keep that thing on me like close.
Yeah,
So
tuck that shit.
you know, it's like, but yeah. Anyways, it's just I grew up. I grew up in that kind of environment. You know what I'm saying? So like, back to the main point is that I got a sister that's doing good. Both my sisters doing good. One of them got a felony. She been in prison for like 8 years. She out right now. She got her own apartment. She doing good. One of my other sisters got her own apartment. She got some Airbnb shit going on too. Like she's straight. You know, like I don't know. My little brother, he trapping, but he doing good though. You know
You
what I'm
know that.
saying? But you know, it's a lot of shit going on. But everybody's doing good. You know, my sister out there hustling. Like everybody came out good. Like my mama just. We all seen a hustler. Like you see what I'm saying? Like we seen somebody that had to go get it. So like when I had my little man, that shit was like, man, that shit nothing. Really, like that shit nothing. Like I know I can do it because I seen a woman do it. And my older brother, you know, he chose the wrong way, but I wish he was out here right now seeing me getting it, and he'll just be like, damn, you know, I should have did it the way Moth did, straight up, cause that nigga did it right, you know. And that's like, I seen niggas go both ways, man. I seen people get kicked out, bro. Like I seen sister brothers, mama lose her kids. Like I was the only one she had left. Like, bro, crazy shit. And it's just like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just here now, and I feel like I made it, bro. And I ain't even make it yet. I know I got a lot more work to do. But right now, bro, I'm sitting here like, damn, I made it. You know, I feel like I was like just running, bro. Just like I was just running for the finish line, and I finally crossed it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel right now. You know what I'm saying? And I came from that family that we talking about right now. So this topic really like kind of hit home just now, bro, for real.
I'm just listening. I'm just listening, man. Yeah, that's deep, man. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say, but that's really interesting. How this topic definitely it's something real relevant. You got the life experience to really impart some wisdom on this topic, man.
Yeah, man. So it's all about life experience. Like I grew up like mostly the same way, seeing my peoples just get it out the mud. You know what I mean? Like the first time I heard my mom and my dad's story, I was like probably like 17 years old, and because I never really knew how they came over until then. You know what I mean? That's when my mom first told me that she got over here on one of those a truck raft. Basically, what they did was they took apart a truck and retrofitted onto a raft. You know what I mean? And there was like about 40 people on there, and she told me like on the trip over here, at least 20 of them died. You know what I mean? And my dad told me that it was the same way. It was a truck raft, and it got caught by the Coast Guard. He had to swim at least 40 yards. You know what I mean, to get to the beaches of Miami. He almost got caught. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those stories that you never hear about. It makes you appreciate it more. Yeah, you feel me? And that's when I like gained a whole new respect for them because I ain't know what they went through before they got here. I thought it was just like all the other immigration like stories. You know what I mean? They got a visa, flew over here, and basically figured shit out when they got off the plane. And they told me like, nah, it was with like 50 other people on the raft. One of them was raping a girl every night, and another one, 20, 30 people died. You know what I'm saying? Like that trip over here ain't easy, especially on a fucking raft. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I realized how much why they pushed me so much when I was young. You know what I mean? Why they pushed me so much to be successful, and why they cared about education so damn much because they realized when they got over here they didn't get that, they didn't really have anything else. You know what I mean? They didn't want us, they didn't want to raise us. They want to raise three kids, seeing them wash dishes every single day or driving a taxi. You know what I mean? They want to do something more for us. So that's what we all saw when we was younger. You know what I mean? Like but my first memory actually, I was like 4 or 5 years old. Uh, One of my first memories was my dad telling me he doesn't drive taxis anymore. You know what I mean? He works at a hospital now. That's when he first graduated Miami-Dade College. You know what I'm saying? When it was a community college, he got a degree in respiratory therapy and started working in the hospital. That was one of my first memories. You know what I'm saying? So, my first memories was my dad telling me that, I'm not gonna be doing this job anymore. I'm gonna be doing a bigger job. And he told me to be up there at one point, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, life experience counts for a lot when we, think about all of this.
Most definitely, man. But hey, what would you what do you think are some takeaways from from this situation in our conversation?
Man, some big takeaways is that there's a lot of nuance to this conversation than we thought. You know what I mean? Because the room that we was in, like, they was giving it no nuance. It was either one or the other. You either enabling or you not, or you're not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think the best way to help somebody out is to throw them to the wolves. You know what I mean? And the conversation we were in earlier, it seems like a lot of them that's what they thought. Just throw them to the wolves, and you know what I mean? That's the best way to do it. And I just don't believe that, yo. Like a lot of people are not built the same. They're not gonna figure shit out by just throwing them into the wolves. You feel what I'm saying? I wasn't like that when I was young. If you threw me to the wolves when I was young, I would not be alive. Like I wouldn't survive on that shit. You feel me? Because I just didn't have that type of constitution. Like I would panic really quickly. You know what I mean? Now because I've been thrown to the wolf so much, I just kind of adapt. You know what I mean? I just kind of figure shit out. But like when I was younger, if I got kicked out at 16, I would not be alive right now, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I would
Hmm.
just fucking panic. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't know what to do. I'll just fall into the drug game because that's all I knew. You know what I mean? I'll just go to the niggas I knew on the block, be like, you my people kick me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me run some shit for you, and I'll be in the thug game back then, because that's all the niggas I knew. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a lot more nuance to this conversation than folks usually give credit for.
Yeah. Yeah. I took away that this this conversation is like very like it hit home, very personal. You know, it can get deep. Um, it's not right to kick nobody out if it's for the wrong reasons. And like let's say like your daughter have sex, that's the wrong reason. But you know, like if she's pregnant, you have to understand like that's your grandbaby. You know, so like you have to think about the right reasons too. So just
Mhm.
put the right reasons first, and put the wrong reasons aside. Like if you're straight up just some atrocious shit, some shit you can't handle, just something that's straight up illegal that's causing you harm, like that kid gotta go. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah, I agree. Everything y'all said. Takeaways is that we all have different life experiences. All of our experiences are valuable to giving us insight into into parenting, different styles of parenting and different ways we can handle situations. And but even with our different experiences, we all agreed that kicking a child out for getting having a child too young, impregnating a girl or getting pregnant um at a young age is wrong. Um, that all you have to do is just make sure that they continue that, like, be more strict and continue helping your child continue down a path of success, and that will lead to them having that will lead to them having a stable adulthood, and then your grandchild will have a stable environment to be raised in. Don't kick them out because that's not going to ensure anything. You don't know what can happen to that person. That's not going to ensure stability for them. Most likely they're not going to succeed if they're 14, 15 years old. So yeah, kicking out is the worst thing to do. But yeah, this is a very insightful conversation. I'm glad we were able to have this tonight.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting out of here, guys. Up and until next time, like we'll have more conversations. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it tonight.
All right.
All right, y'all have a good night.
All
All
right.
right, y'all. Catch you later.